Okay, good late evening. Peoples, let's jump into CONY. Coin and CONY. They're moving up like Misty, or running past their weeklies, getting capped, but really doing well on the synthetic, so it's more than making up for the loss on the weeklies. And Jay also mentioned in a recent interview that he takes that into consideration, and that has a lot to do with whether they pay out better or not. If they know the synthetic is making up for it, whereas sometimes they position the synthetic real high and then they write calls and they collect that premium, but it's not because the stock is running that high up. And after these last distributions, I noticed that in a couple of cases, so I think I'll be able to account for that a little bit better. All right, so on 6.5, 2.95% is what the movement up was in the coin, the tracking stock, right? So we didn't do as well. We got about 1% of the 3%, which is what happens when you're capped, right? It's exactly, we perform somewhere around a half to a third when these stocks are surging, but we get big payouts, right? Which you just witnessed, the largest payout of all the funds, $3.03 in MSTY, and it's running like this. And I did my video, and CONY has a huge win on the synthetics, right? It's only $1.69 now, but it's typically, it can get up to 250, 260 when these surges happen. All right. So no trades. They're saving the cash, to be honest, right now. MSTY did a few, but they both sold a lot of shares, right? So this one sold 500,000 even, right, from 26.1, 26,675, and you see it here. They're putting that in the basket to pay the distributions tomorrow now, because it's already early morning on the 6th. So on the 7th, bright and early, we get our payments. Okay, so what else? So they didn't have synthetics, right? Those stay the same. I'll show you those, right? We're still at the 230 mark, but this shows you now with updated pricing just how much they're worth, which I track in detail in the holdings tab. So 59.9, almost 60 million, right? But in fairness, let's just see our liability. So here's our big win, 59 million. But look at this. We collected 9.8 million on these two strikes, 235, 245, right? Well, we're already at 251, right? Look at, this will be the last day I use May. I'll switch over to my June tab, and I've built that. I just haven't started updating it, right? That's some of the accounting work we have to do as trackers, I guess, on these funds. It's a lot of busy work, but it's a labor of love. Okay, so let's look at the week. Well, we'll come back to this. I think holding shows the best position, and then I just show weeklies where they're laid out. In our case, there's really only two, right? But the other, well, actually, let's go there, because on the weekly I do show you the current price. Here we are at 251. CONY's 24.16. Now understand that CONY will open in the pre-market, 2250-ish, right? It's got to account for 2247 probably, to be exact, if you do the 169. But remember, it can open already. It sees what the buy and sell orders that have come into the marketplace. Because there's a lot of people that say, I'll forgive the dividend. I just want to buy it cheap, right? And so they got buy orders in. Some are collecting the dividend and then not dripping and just putting their buy orders in. I've actually thought about it, because if you remember, I switched out almost 80% of my CONY shares. First time I've ever done that, and moved them to MSTY about 9 days ago, right? Because I just knew that MSTY was going to perform better and pay out substantially better. and it was almost a double. So it was a no-brainer. Now, had the stock been a double, that's not a yield advantage, right? You're talking about a $24 stock versus a $34 stock. So, you know, that's it's not even 1.5. You know, it's 140%. So if the yield was 240, it would be about a break even. But when you got a $3 payout and you got $1.69, and they both exceeded by 50 cents or more, 60 cents higher than I thought they were. Well, CONY only paid about 40 something cents, but MSTY paid 60 cents more than I thought they were going to pay. And you know, they paid on the high side, but that's great. They're, you know, I think market makers and Yieldmax said, hey, we're now surging, right? We've been in the BTC has been up in the 70s, and you know, whether it breaks out of 73 or 74 or not, we don't know yet. But when it's up there, it's clearly in that high channel. All right, so continuing on this, everything was up. You can see, you don't see the damage done. Well, you sort of do it over here, right? You get the 9.8 back plus 33,000 more. So it's about a $43,000 hit, $43 million hit that they are behind. Now that can all change in a blink of an eye, and probably 2% of that is time premium, right? This is $6 above these guys, right? But it's probably got $8 worth of costing us right now. So let's run over to holdings and take a look. But I like this because you can see CONY and coin, and you can see what they've written, right? The bulk of them at 235. Well, that's $16, right? Let's go back for a second and see what they wrote those at, right? Those 235s only got $3, almost $4. But you see why that kills us, right? It's only good up to like 238. We're at 251. So we took $9 million and we got to spend $30 million just on that to buy it back. So far, but we make it in the synthetic. So it's yin and yang, but the fund gives us the benefit of the doubt as long as we have it over there knowing we can roll it, so they're willing to pay. That's the beauty here. All right, let's look at holdings and we can see it spelled out. There's 59.9, call it 60 million, okay? Let's look at that, how it's just progressed over the last 4 days. I need to put these charts in my other ones. I've got all this. I just haven't put the chart in MSTY and YBIT and you know, GDXY, and I need to do that. So apologies there, because I think visuals, I can tell you all this stuff, but I'm visual. You know, I imagine 30, 40, 50% of you are visual learners. I'm a super visual learner. You know, if I do math, I want to see the numbers. I want to see it in the chart. I can look at numbers and extrapolate percentages and things like that. I'm gifted in math, always have been. But I also am visual. So those of you that don't know what kind of learner you are, you may want to think about that. If you're old, it's a little late, right? Hopefully you've already encountered that in school, you know. So it's like art. I could not learn art. I hated that subject, right? I loved math. So what is that? I loved history though too. So, all right. Yeah, that's huge. Now look, so this is dialed in. You know, I'm always teaching you guys. So they wrote 24,000, right? This is peanuts. Oh, it's raining outside. You can hear that rain coming. So 24,000. So we collected 9.3 million. Altogether, we collected 9.8, right? But look at this. 3 times. It's 41.4 million to buy it back because we're $17 over. Well, we're really only 16 when you do the math, but there's a little bit of time premium for the 2 days. So this isn't going to come down if we stay up here. But neither is this, right? We're going to win here, and we're probably going to have to roll on Friday evening to pay these, right? But that's a whole separate. So they got their money together to pay us. That's what we care about for right now. So fair value, 500,000 shares, right? People want in. I mean, I always say don't chase yield. Sometimes I chase yield, right? This is the first time that I moved MSTY out of MSTY. I try not to trade these. I definitely want to hedge them. If I see Bitcoin run to, 100, 95 to 100, and I think there's a 3-month period where BTC comes back to 70, now I can just sell the fund, but guess what? The fund's going to pay us going down, right? You're still going to get a monthly. It could still be $1.50, $2. But what happens? Your NAV is going to shrink. So what about going out and buying a bear CONY fund, right? There's a CONO, and I believe I'd have to look it up right now. It's not in the top of my head. CONO is 2 times CONY bull, but there's a bear coin. There's some other ways to do it. So all I'm saying is, here's some value that I want to bring you guys. I want you, don't just say, oh, the bull market's over. Usually bull markets last a long time. Like I can tell you guys right now, GDXY, okay? When it starts, still, nobody wants to touch gold and silver stocks right now. Gold hit a new all-time high. Silver will get to a new all-time high in 3, 4, 5 months. Could happen in 2. Those stocks are waking up, and when they wake up, they'll run 3x to 4x the increases in gold. So when gold goes up $100 a day, those stocks are going to go up, and it's 3%. They're going to go up 12% a day. So they're going to be the NVDYs. They're going to be the energy. Okay? So we just have to recognize when that comes. But here's my point. On those bull runs, the gold and silver and precious metal stocks and other hard assets, uranium, oil, when they move, in foods, they move typically over 4, 5, 8-year cycles. Now, that's up for 6 or 8 months, down for 3 or 4 months, and they may retrace 50% of what they went up. So you can start trading in and out of these funds, but only if it's a tax-free fund. If it's an IRA or Roth IRA or something, then you don't have to worry about your gains and losses. But you got all kinds of gains and losses in a taxable account. I have both, right? I have a taxable and I have 2 IRA accounts. So, I'm ultimately familiar with that. So, unless you're a professional trader status, then you get treated almost like business income. You can set up an S Corp and you can pay yourself a salary, and there's a lot of advantages, but you truly need to be trading every day. And I probably have 3% of the people that might be like that subscribe to this. They're pretty good traders, but they may not know these products. But there's a lot of things we can do as a group here. So that's why I started putting up the Discord, the plans to do a lot more with you guys. I need to probably get to 30, 50,000 subscribers in 4 to 6 months, and this thing will be really set up good. And I think BTC is probably, when it goes to 100, it should be this year, come back to 70, hang out, right? Could go to 60, and then go on up to 125 or 150, right? So there's just steps. For those of you that know Fibonacci, that know wave movements, there's, I track a lot of that stuff in some of the things I do. It's just boring right now. So anyway, I went off and I went on my rant. Most of you enjoy it. If you didn't, tell me you didn't enjoy it, but just skip past it, right? I'm almost done. Nothing here. Let's go and look at payments. So we're going to pay out what they're going to pay out, right? 169.82. And we'll start our new June. I said this in MSTY, but just in case you didn't watch it, I can't make the assumption. I go from X dividend date to X dividend date. It's kind of like, some people go, well, Bruce, do you track the first of the month to the end of the month? No. I go X dividend date to X dividend date, right? And so I'll go over to my June, and I already copied May there, and then I'll just delete all the May except for the last few relevant ones that I have here. Well, it wouldn't be 531, it would just be the 6/7s. These are all closed out. But I color code them differently so you guys can see them, right? When you're in May, and actually I need to take those off. All right, that's all I got for you. Happy payday tomorrow, and look forward to any comments, likes. Please hit the like button for me. Tell anybody you know that you think this could be valuable for. I really want to get to 1,000. You know, I think I'm at 821 when I look. Obviously, I get monetized when I get to 1,000. I have all the relevant watch hours. Probably I'm well past my watch hour count, so I'm just waiting on the subscriber base. I'll probably put out another video that I'll think that will help in that. All right, so Bruce out. Not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice for fun and education, or fun and entertainment. Hope you were entertained. Okay, see you. Bye.